Alrighty guys, so we got our Rockville 700, which Rolando supplied for us. So I'll go over the functions. First things first, safety consideration. When this unit is on, this lip there is, that is where the haze protrudes from, gets extremely hot. So please do not touch it by this lip ever. Always grab it by the handle on the top or by the entire body, preferably the handle. So that being covered, let's go ahead and get into the functionality of this guy. So there's two different ways to use it. There is a wireless remote. This obviously detaches. Although I found the use of the wireless remote not very intuitive because of the labeling that they chose to go with. It just isn't very useful, and so we're going to opt out for this and use the wired remote. This is magnetic on the back, so you can stick this to any part of the unit or something else. It comes with like an 8 or 10 foot cord, which is excellent. So let's go ahead and cover each of these modes and functions. Essentially there's 3 knobs, 3 buttons. The 3 buttons represent the 3 modes. So there's a timed mode, a continuous mode, and a manual mode. We're going to stick to continuous and manual. Of course, there is the kill switch on the body. Let's go ahead and turn it on and let it kind of power up for a second. I've already been using it, so it should be ready to go. One thing to know is if you want it to produce any haze at all, this knob has to be above 0. So if it's at 0, even if you hit manual, it's not going to spit anything out. If you set continuous, it's not going to spit anything out. So let's go ahead and put that at half power starting out. Sorry, we have an alarm here. Half power. This button is a press and release button. And as you'll see, as we press it, it will immediately start producing haze. Once you release, it will stop, but it'll keep going for a little bit because it probably assumes that we wanted more than just one little burst. If we turn the output down to 0, it tends to stop faster. There we go. So we'll go back up to 50%. And notice this is a press and release. These 2 buttons are locking buttons. So if you press them, they will stay going. So this is going to produce haze continuously when depressed, as shown. This knob here actually has nothing to do with the manual hazing, even though it's color-coded green. This actually has to do with the fan speed. So that affects the throw of the haze, but not the amount of haze. And it also affects the actual dissipation of the particles for better diffusion. So basically automatic dissipation, although we can manually fan it as well. We'll go ahead and turn off the continuous haze so I don't fill up my whole house, and turn it down to 0. We're not going to use the timer function because it's not as useful, but I'll go ahead and cover its functionality real quick. You can essentially think of the knob on the timer function as the duration of time that you want it to run for and then rest for thereafter. So the amount of time for production of haze will equal the amount of time for rest. So if you set it to the middle, I believe it'll be a 5-second on and 5-second off. All the way up, it'll be 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Probably going to want to use that with the fan, and we'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So when the light comes on, that's when it is on its production phase, and then it'll rest for another 10 seconds. So we'll let it do its thing. Oh, excuse me. I think this needed to be turned on. So let's see what it does now. So it's resting for 10 seconds. This light should turn on, and it should go for about 10 seconds. About 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It might be a little longer than 10 seconds. Maybe it's a 20-second maximum. But somewhere in here, that's going to determine how long it'll rest before it turns back on. So, not as useful, but an added option. So, I'll go ahead and just do some manual haze real quick for us. You have to kick this up to whatever percentage you want. And manual haze, we'll hold that for a few seconds and then turn it off. Go ahead and click that down to 0 and it should stop pretty fast. What stops it even faster is the manual kill switch, of course. Immediately off and then back on, and it won't be kicking out any more haze at that point. The fan noise is pretty loud, so we want to be aware of that while rolling. I don't know if you can hear that. You should be able to hear that with the microphone. But yeah, that's essentially it. Thanks.